Let's talk about Nvidia, AI chips, and why the company is suddenly so focused on where those chips actually end up. Recently, reports have claimed that some advanced Nvidia chips still found their way into China, even after the United States tightened export controls. Those chips were allegedly used for unauthorized AI training, exactly the kind of use these restrictions were meant to prevent. So how could that happen? In practice, export controls don't magically stop a chip at the border. Hardware can move through distributors, resellers, and complex supply chains. Once it leaves the factory, it can be very hard to know where it finally lands. In response, Nvidia is testing a new kind of tracking software. Here's the basic idea. When one of these high-end chips is installed in a system and eventually connects to Nvidia's servers for updates, drivers, or cloud services, it sends back a small signal, a kind of digital ping. From that ping, Nvidia can estimate where the chip is being used. Not a precise home address, but an approximate region or country. If a chip that was supposed to stay out of China suddenly appears to be active in China, that's a red flag. This gives Nvidia at least some visibility into whether restricted hardware is being routed into markets where it's not allowed. It's one of the first attempts to turn export rules, which mostly exist on paper, into something companies can actually monitor and enforce in the real world. But this approach raises big questions. How much tracking is acceptable before it starts to feel like surveillance? What happens if customers don't want their hardware phoning home with location data, even if it's approximate? And if a chip does show up in a restricted region, what responsibility does Nvidia have? And what power does it really have to act? At the same time, governments see these chips as more than just components. In an AI-driven world, access to top-tier hardware is tied to economic strength, research leadership, and even national security. That's why there is so much pressure to control where the most powerful chips go. So Nvidia's tracking software is best understood as a first step. It's imperfect, controversial, and still evolving. But it signals a shift. If you want to build with frontier AI hardware, you should expect more scrutiny over where it travels and how it's used. The future of AI isn't just about faster, smarter chips. It's also about who controls where those chips go and what they're ultimately allowed to build.